Trader Cobb Crypto Podcast. This is the Trader Cobb Crypto Podcast.
G'day everybody and welcome to the Trader Cobb Crypto Show. Today we're going to go through another of the series that I'm putting together called A Trader's Journey. I want to basically share with you on this journey a bunch of the lessons that I've learned along the way to help me to get to where I'm at, and hopefully, more importantly, just to give you a bit of a heads up and insight into what is to come if you decide that trading is something that you want to work towards. Today is about learning the hard way. And the reason is that you've really got two ways that you can learn. You can learn the hard way or you can learn the easy way. Most of us, well, certainly myself anyway, have learnt the hard way. So what do I mean by the hard way and the easy way? Well, the easy way is basically by getting a teacher, getting someone who can help you, sticking to a strategy, a set of rules, and following a path that has already been trodden prior to you beginning your journey. And that's kind of where I step in and where TraderCobb.com steps in. I can help with that path, that journey. That being said, I can't help you with everything, and you will make mistakes. There will be lessons along the way, and there'll be some painful ones too. For me, my journey really started back in 2006. Actually, my investing and my market starting journey started when I was, I think, 16 years old. I bought some shares in a company called Phoenix Technologies Limited. They were a trash disposal company turning it into building products, I believe, if I recall correctly. Now, Phoenix Technology Limited went from, I think I bought in at about 9 to 11 cents for my buying price. When I was 16 years old, I had a little business, I'd made some money. And when I say little, I genuinely mean little, like a little school business, a little business selling stuff to rugby clubs, that sort of thing. But I'd used that money because I was very interested in the stock market to invest in this Phoenix Technologies Limited. Now, PTL was its EPIC code, the three letters that represented on the ASX. It went from my 8 to 11 cent buy-in to 88 cents or thereabouts. So I'd done a times 8 on my money, X8. Talking crypto, I was feeling pretty good as the run was going up. I mean, back in those days we had the TV program. You youngins out there won't know what this is, but it's called teletext. And on teletext, you would basically have a ticker tape. You could go and search the prices of stocks on your TV by going into a certain section of your television. And I was pretty stoked, obviously, watching it go from 8 cents to 9 cents to 10 cents to 25 cents to 35, and it went up and up and up. I think it took about a month to peak at 88 cents. So I'd taken my, whatever it was, like I think it was about $2,500 to, close to 20,000. I was over the moon. I was so excited. But like many people in crypto, and I see this now, is they don't know when to get out. And I didn't know when to get out either. I just kept doing the math. I kept going, well, if it gets to $5, I'll have this much. If it gets to $10, I'll get this much. And you start to do some spreadsheet dreaming is what I call it. It's exactly that. Markets don't go parabolic for long, and you've got to be able to take your profit. So that was my first little venture, my first little dream into trading, investing, not so much trading. And the story ends like this. Bankruptcy for PTL. My shares being worth nothing. So that introduced me to risk management. I definitely fell hard because to make $2,500 when you were 16 years old was no easy task. And I worked very hard for that money. So it really instilled in me risk management and a very important lesson. Now let's fast forward to 2006, 7, 8, when I was really sort of in my trading journey, the beginning days. I had a little business that I ran that made me a little bit of money. I decided I was going to travel the world. And I started trading. I had 9,000 pounds that I could trade with. Back then, I think it was about 2.8 to the dollar. So a considerable amount of money, it was. Certainly for that age, I felt very wealthy. And I proceeded to learn to trade my way. Being a bit of an entrepreneur, a bit of a doer, I thought I'd just learn it myself. Well, I failed miserably. It took me 6 months to wipe out the first 6,000. So I put 3,000 in to learn, lost that. Another 3,000 in, lost that. Then the next 3,000 in, I went in, just about lost all of that too. So I've blown out several accounts. The last one was the most painful because I lost it about 18 months into my journey after having grown it quite substantially. And what that did for me is it taught me that the way an entrepreneur thinks, or the way a business person thinks, or a way somebody who's a doer, hands-on, gets stuck in and makes things happen. You learn on the fly. Yeah, you just make it happen. The old just do it, make it happen, just figure it out. Unfortunately, it took me that long, 18 months plus all that money, to work out that unfortunately trading had too many variables to consider to just get it right. You know, I often use the analogy of going into your kitchen and, you know, into a professional kitchen, having 5,000 ingredients and being told how to cook something you'd never tasted, smelt, seen a recipe before, or even seen. It's just about impossible. It's a task that nobody wants to undertake because it will take too bloody long to figure it out. So that was a huge learning point for me. I went from being completely independent, completely confident, 10 foot tall and bulletproof to realizing, Jesus, I actually need to find somebody who can teach me this. Now, my journey has been filled with learning the hard way. I had people tell me, you need to have a mentor. You need to have somebody who knows how they already do it, and you need to replicate them and create your own way around a successful model that already stands on its own 2 feet. I chose to ignore that, and many of you choose to ignore that today, and I understand that. Not only do I understand that, I totally respect it. It's part of your journey. Everybody has their own way of doing things. It's the people that can work out how to make the least amount of mistakes by learning from somebody that's made the mistakes that are going to get there faster. Now, I learned the hard way through a lot of different things, even to the point of, you know, I haven't had too many big blowouts since I've been back in Australia, which has been 6-7 years, 6.5 years since I left London. But I had some very big lessons in London. I was successfully trading. I'd done well. And then what you do is you go, right, I'm going to go from, you know, if I've done so well this year, risking 1%, next year I'm going to risk 4% per trade, and I'm going to get rich very, very quickly. And again, you go back into that mentality of spreadsheet dreaming. Now, what that does is it creates this greed, this emotion, this loop that's negative. It is not congruent with a good, successful trader. I did the same thing. I lost a big wedge of money in January because it was basically a New Year's Eve epiphany. I'm not sure if it was a New Year's Eve epiphany, but it was sort of like the, you know, setting your goals at the start of the year. I thought the best way for me to achieve X is to change Y, and we'll be good to go. I'll achieve my goals 4 times as fast because I'm risking 4 times as much. Well, as you can probably imagine, again, knocked back down. Humbled by the markets, humbled by my lack of understanding. You see, consistency and risk management with smooth execution, flawless execution over large sample sets where you ultimately win. Now, it took me quite a while to work this out, and thankfully I am there. I've worked out that, you know, less is more. Keep it simple is everything that I focus on in my trading and in my career, to be fair, and everything I do, even in business. Always manage the risk. But again, I learned the hard way. You don't need to learn all the mistakes, so you don't have to make all the mistakes I made if you're willing to listen to the teachings of the mistakes. The results of those mistakes are where your education lies. I wanted to make that very clear because part of the trader's journey is to learn the hard way. How many times will you learn the hard way? Well, that's completely up to you. But hang in there. One day, you'll work out what you need, and hopefully I can help you with that. So guys, have a fantastic day. Bit of food for thought there. Bye for now.
The Trader Cobb Crypto Podcast. Check out tradercobb.com because experience matters.